Continue with our Theology of the Body Mondays. And we have been talking about how marriage ought to be free, total, faithful, and fruitful. And how this a marriage that has these characteristics, which is really kind of part and parcel of what marriage really is. Then there's an imitation of Christ's love. This is how Christ loves the church. And how also we talked about how the marriage can become a certain icon of even the inner life of the Trinity in the love of the husband and wife and the possibility of bearing children. Now, all these aspects of free, total, faithful, and fruitful are things that are said verbally at the wedding ceremony. So, one of the questions that is asked when the wedding is actually going to happen during the Mass is, do you come here freely? And the couple says, yes, I have, right? And then, are you prepared for as long as you to follow the way of marriage for as long as you both shall live, right? The sense of total, right? Then there's actually an actual question: are you prepared to receive lovingly from God children, right? Again, fruitful, specifically asked. And then the aspect of faithful as well. Thus, when the promises are made in good times and in bad, in sickness and in health, all the days of my life, right? So all these aspects are said verbally during wedding ceremony. Now, these promises, though said verbally at the wedding ceremony, they're not really consummated or ratified until the newlywed couple says these promises in a sense with their very own bodies, right, on their wedding night. The marital embrace, right, the act itself says something, right? In itself, it in a sense contains these promise, and so it is in a sense said with their bodies. It is consummated, and they really do become one, not just verbally. This also means then that every time that a couple enters into this one flesh union, they are in a sense renewing their wedding vows with their own body, with the language of their body. This is going to link to the fact that certain acts mean certain things. There's a language to the body. So, and not only sexually speaking, but just in general, right? If I start beating somebody up and hitting them in the face and they start bleeding, and then you ask me, Father, what are you doing? And I would just say, oh, just expressing my love to, my sibling or whatever. You'd be like, no, that is not what you're doing. That is not love. Physically harming somebody does not mean love, even if you think that it does, right? Love cannot just mean whatever you want it to mean. Oh, well, for me, love is beating this person up. Well, no, you don't get to choose. Again, we talked about this, the objective reality of love. You don't get to choose what love is. That is not love. That is an act that is not loving. You cannot call it love, right? And so, similarly, right, the sexual act means something, regardless of whether you wanted to mean it or not. It means I am yours, totally, freely, faithfully, fruitfully, and you are mine, and we are one. Right? A corollary of this, kind of of the fact that sex does mean something, is linked, for example, the immorality of sex outside of marriage, right? And we've talked multiple times how sex is good, sexual desire is good, but it does mean something, right? So if one is saying with one's body, I am yours and you are mine, and I'm completely yours, and I'm faithful to you, and I'm committed to you, but one really isn't, because one may leave the next day because one is not bound to this person in marriage, then one, in a sense, is lying with their own body. You're saying something with your body that you do not mean. You are lying, right? What you're saying with your body is not true. And even if we were to say, right, oh, this is my way of expressing love, no, it's not. Because again, you are lying. You're saying something with your body that you're not really willing to do, that is commit to this person. Maybe something analogous could be that of, not exactly the same, but maybe like flirting, right? While not being interested in the person. And when a person flirts, they're sending signals with their body, and maybe even what they say. They're saying, I am interested in you, right? So the other person may be like, oh, this person interested in me. Oh, maybe I'm interested back. And then maybe after a little bit, it's like, just kidding. Just wanted to see if I could get you interested in me. I wasn't never really interested in you. See you later. You're messing. You're using the other person. You're playing with their heart, right? Just wanting to see if you can gain gain them to be attracted to you, and then see you later, right? You're just playing. You're acting. You're not really interested in the person. You're acting. You're lying, right? So similarly with sex, right? The sex outside of marriage, there's a line there. Related to this kind of this implication, there is no such thing as quote unquote casual sex, right? This is something that I think our culture it really tries to sell, and it actually ends up messing up with people. Um, I once walked with somebody who, perhaps because of the culture, had, in a sense, believed that, yeah, sex does not mean anything. It's equal to, high-fiving somebody. It doesn't have to mean anything. So this woman was dating somebody. They were dating together, and they were thinking about getting married. And so they were about to get engaged in a couple months. And so they said, hey, why don't we have an open relationship? It is like you can have other partners, I can have other partners, sexually speaking, and we'll come back and share our experiences. Because it's just almost like, why don't you go and check out some parks over there, and I go check out some parks over there, and we tell each other, if there's some cool parks out there, right? As if it was as meaningless as just going to a park, trying to believe or have bought into the lie that sex again doesn't mean anything. Well, after they agreed to this, and they both were fine with this, uh, uh, the guy goes and has his own experiences and comes back and really excited, shares these things with her, and even though this woman had wanted sex not to mean anything, she couldn't bear this man who she was dating to so excitedly share about his experiences because, again, even in her heart, she felt so betrayed, and rightfully so, because even if you want to say it doesn't mean anything, it just does. It just does. It's just reality. Sex does mean something. There's no such thing as casual sex, right? And so, you know, more to say about this, but just some things to continue to ponder, and we'll continue next week.